Today, I wanted to talk about team-ups. Team-ups have been around for a long time, with some of the most early examples in film being films like Ocean's 11 and even the Universal Monsters in the 1940s. Heck, one of the earliest stories, Gilgamesh, focused on Gilgamesh teaming up with Enkidu to fight monsters. Team-ups have a simple setup. A group of individuals come together to overcome an obstacle or accomplish something truly fantastic. But today, I wanted to focus on the Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and what it means to me. Now, the Guardians of the Galaxy holds a special place in my heart, not just for its epic storytelling and memorable characters, but rather how those characters came together. The first film brings together Star-Lord, Rocket, Gamora, Drax, and Groot through literal cosmic circumstances, and they had to work together to save the galaxy. Each character brought something valuable to the team, and at no point did it ever feel like a one-man show. I remember when I finished watching it for the first time, I was left wanting more. I didn't care if the Guardians were getting drinks or just hanging out. I adored these characters and I loved watching them interact. This mirrored the same way I felt with my first teaching team. When I started my first year of teaching, I didn't really know anyone on my team. I was too preoccupied with putting out fires in my own classroom to build bonds with the people around me. It wasn't until my second year, when we became a turnaround school, that we had to band together and, well, turn it around. If you don't know what a turnaround school is, it's a nice way of saying, hey, if things don't change, then you can start looking for employment elsewhere. The icing on the cake was that the local paper had written an article about how we were the worst school in the district.
What a bunch of a-holes.
This is where I saw a parallel between my team and the Guardians. We were both in situations with high stakes, and we were the underdogs. Title I schools have their own challenges, with many students and families needing additional support to help combat trauma and poverty. In the face of these challenges, much like the Guardians confronting a galactic threat, our team had to rise to the occasion. As we navigated through the hurdles of turning around a struggling school, we found ourselves in a situation with high stakes and the odds stacked against us. We were a school that people thought couldn't do it, and we did it. It was also at the end of year 2 that the team felt like more than a team. If one of us was down or needed help, there's always someone there to help lift them up. This led to us having lunches together, hanging out outside of school, and we continued to succeed as a team. This became my norm until my 4th year of teaching. Now viewer, there were a lot of shenanigans in the process of making Volume 3. A big part was James Gunn getting fired then rehired. Throw in the fact that his vision of the story was altered in order to fit with the bigger picture of the MCU, and it makes for kind of a bumpy ride. This is important because the change in my 4th year of teaching came from a shakeup from the top. In my 4th year of teaching, my principal had been reassigned to a new school, and as a result, some of the staff had left with her. While my team was mostly unaffected, our new principal had begun to make changes on how the school operated. One of the big changes was reassigning me to 4th grade with a partner who I didn't exactly see eye to eye with. The magic I felt slowly started to fade because I began to dread to go to work. It was during a lunch with my team that one of my teammates told me that I had to do what was right for me. It was a hard pill to swallow. I loved my team, and what I learned from them made me into the teacher I am today. It was at that point that I realized that this would be my last year with the team. We finished the year as strong as we could because 2020 was the thing, and that was that. My girlfriend and I moved up to Washington. Some of the teachers stayed, while others went to new schools, switched grade levels, or even retired. 3 years later, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in theaters, which to me was the perfect send-off for these characters. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Volume 3 yet. At the end of the movie, the Guardians split up to find their own way. When each character goes off on their own path, it crossed my mind that this would be the last time we would see this group together in its current iteration. It was this thought that made me think back to my first team. The realization that even if I went back to my first school, it would never be the same. I've grown as a person, and so have my teammates. It's bittersweet because we love to watch these characters interact and grow across these movies, and that's what I had with my first team. Humor, warm interactions, and growth. I'm currently with a new team, and it's not the same as my first year, but then again, I'm not the same person I was during those initial 4 years. Change is inevitable, both in fiction and reality. Similar to the finale of Volume 3, I plan to embrace change while also cherishing the memories I make along the way. Team-ups may have finales, but the spirit of coming together will continue, ensuring that new stories are told and that new teams emerge to face challenges with the cosmic dance-off. I'm Starbun Scott, and this has been Pop Culture and Me.